So, you got COVID. You might think it's the end of the world. You might think it's the Infinity War. But don't feel bad. Most superheroes that you see on TV wear superhero masks or just masks altogether. But even they can still catch COVID. That is mostly to be cheesy, but there is actually a moral to that story. I'll get into that later in the video. Hello, what's up guys? I'm Kyle from KGR, and recently I battled COVID. It happened at a perfect time because it happened like right as into me like moving into my apartment, because originally I had like 3 days off to like get settled in. Turns out I needed a lot more time than that. So getting sick at a perfect time was really nice. So today I want to like go over like how it went for me, because everybody hits COVID differently. In fact, my girlfriend and I, we live together now, and her and I had mostly different symptoms. Of course, her and I had the COVID cough, but it's like an ass crack. If you have COVID, everybody's gonna have that. But I'll get into the symptoms a little bit later. I want to go over like how I possibly got it, because to be honest, I don't even know. Because I work retail and I work Black Friday, so you can only imagine how that could have gone. Here, one of my coworkers, we're gonna call him Patient Zero because I'm not gonna drop any names or anything. Here, he was the first one to be relieved for COVID because he tested positive. And that's when we like started freaking out a little bit. So then we all got tested. Turns out most of the store got COVID. So it was a little bit of a struggle trying to run that store, but like they took care of it. It was fine. But then also my new upstairs neighbors also had COVID, and they found out a little bit late because I was moving boxes into this apartment like before the official move-in date, and they were coming down talking to me and stuff like that. But at the time, I didn't know they had COVID, and I got sick. So I don't know if it's from Patient Zero. I don't know if it's from my neighbors. I don't know if I got it on Black Friday itself because I work in retail. However, both Patient Zero and my neighbors were like deeply apologizing, saying how they felt really bad. But it seemed to be everywhere. It seems that I was gonna catch it one way or another. So it's fine. Like it's 2021. It's gonna happen sooner or later, I guess. Yeah, COVID's been out for about 2 years, but at the time, like around this time, like 2 years ago, it was mainly just in China. It wasn't like super heavy into America just yet. It wasn't March when we had a huge lockdown. But I remember like around this time 2 years ago, I was in a doctor for some reason, and they were taking all the precautions. They weren't doing the mask mandate just yet, but they were asking, like, yo, did you go traveling? Did you go to China? Did you experience any, like, coughing, sneezing, anything like that? Because at the time, I think I got strep throat. Yeah, that was why I went to the doctor. Yeah, because I wore a mask because I had a cough, had a fever, and a few other things. I was sick, but I wasn't COVID sick yet. But anyway, yeah, it's funny. 2 years later, now I got COVID. So I got my first symptom about probably the 29th or the 30th of November. It was like right before I was ready to move out. And even then, when I got these symptoms, I didn't even know it was COVID. Because the first symptom that I felt was the muscle aching. I thought I just slept wrong because I have a pretty crappy mattress at my parents' place. And then December 1st came. And no, it wasn't December 1st. It was November 30th. November 30th happened. It was the day before I had to move because my moving day was on the 1st. And my mom and I were crying hysterically because it was our last day together and I had to work. And it was just us realizing, yo, like I'm not going to be at home anymore. And it was going to suck because I wasn't going to be at home. And I was going to miss my mom because I'm a mama's boy. Like I'm very close to my mom. I talk to her a lot. I just love talking to family altogether. So I was like crying hysterically for like 2 hours because like I was crying on the way to work. I cried when I got to work before the store opened. I was slightly crying after we opened. Like it was a rough time. So I thought like I completely wiped myself out, so I got lightheaded from it because that was my next symptom, getting all lightheaded. And then later in that day, I noticed myself stumbling on my words and getting things mixed up. Turns out confusion is a very bad symptom for COVID. So if you experience that, you're supposed to see a doctor. I didn't have insurance. And I was poor. So I did not see a doctor. And also, I found out this information about going to see a doctor and the confusion thing being a symptom after all of the confusion mostly passed anyway. But still, I had no insurance. I wasn't going to see a doctor. And then that's when the COVID cough happened, because it's COVID. You're going to have a cough. It's like an ass crack. Everyone's going to have it. Then I was also like really, really congested. Like I remember there was a couple of times where like I went to blow my nose one day and I felt the pressure come out my eye. So like I felt like wind coming out my eye. I only experienced that one other time, and that was still within like the past year, I'm pretty sure, because I don't remember ever experiencing that at all throughout my life besides earlier this year. And then also another day, like shortly after that, I'm pretty sure, I blew my nose and my ears popped. And thankfully I was around this table, because after I blew my nose and popped my ears, I completely lost my balance. I immediately like fell to this table, and if this table wasn't here, I would have fallen to the floor for sure. But my girlfriend, on the other hand, like she obviously had the cough, but besides the cough, like she lost her taste. But thankfully, it was only for a couple of days. Normally when I hear people talking about them losing their taste or their smell or anything like that, I hear about it like happening for weeks at a time, maybe even months, but I never heard it only lasting for a couple of days. So she got off very, very lucky. So I was off work for about a week and a half, because normally with other employers, they try to make it go between 10 to 14 days, typically 14 days after your COVID test. Because my COVID test, I moved on Wednesday the 1st, but got my test done that Friday. But the PA Health Department apparently tells you that you gotta quarantine for 10 days after your first symptom. So after that 10 days of my first symptom, that would have been Saturday, and Saturday was when I had to go back to work. But as I was still here, thankfully using that time that I had to be quarantining and probably should be resting, I was just unpacking. I was trying to do as much work around this place as possible and just try to be settled in more. That was painful. Like literally it was painful, because the muscle aching I was feeling, it was like in my lower back and my hips. And when I would go to walk to one day, like if I go to stand up or if I try to walk, that's when I'd feel it the most. And I remember I was trying to walk from, this is the dining room, and then the next room would be the living room, and then after that would be my office. While I was trying to get to the office so I can like unload some figures out of their boxes and put them on the shelves, I tried doing that, and then I fell to the floor into the living room because it was just too much pain. That was probably the worst part about having COVID, just being in that constant pain. But like, if I was in that constant pain for any other time in my life, not moving in, it probably wouldn't have been that bad. But it happened at a good and bad time at the same time. And I literally had one day to rest, because my goal was to get everything done as fast as I could so I could rest after that. But no, I had one day to rest, and then I had to go back to work. And even then, I don't think it was that restful of a day anyway, because I don't remember it being good. Going back into work, I still had my cough, but like everybody had their cough anyway, so like we all went back to work. It was fine. And originally, I thought I wasn't getting paid, so I was trying to file for unemployment. But then it turns out like a day or two, I think it was a day or two before I went back to work. Turns out he told us, hey, don't file for unemployment. We're going to take care of you. We're going to pay you what your normal hours would have been. And I wish I would have knew that, because I was streaming and I was telling guys, hey, I have COVID now. So that's a thing. So people were donating more. And like the guys who have been donating lately, first up, thank you so much. A lot of the donations that you were putting in was supposed to be toward games, I guess. Yeah, I remember it like being specifically for Sonic games. And then people donated more on top of that just to make sure I could eat and stuff. So For all you guys who've been donating that much, you guys are incredible. So thank you so much. But that's mostly my story. There's not really too much after that. There's a decent chance I'm probably gonna get COVID again because, you know, these new variants coming out and all that fun stuff, and a lot of us are not wearing masks. Guilty as charged, I'm one of them. Because after working in a warehouse with a mask on, especially with a cheap mask that was like one of those like disposable ones, I noticed that like the filtering, it was like, I don't know if it was like, it felt like it was like coming apart as so you're breathing and you just feel like bits of dust or something, or bits of mask going in your mouth. I wasn't the only one experiencing this. Other people at Amazon at the time were experiencing that too. And at first, it was a day that, when someone noticed it, it was a day that I brought my own mask. I just forgot my mask one day. And I'm like, yo, these people are crazy. And then I did it, and then I felt it. I'm like, whoa, this ain't cool. And plus, you know, constantly doing like heavy lifting and like really like beating yourself up and like really panting for air, it doesn't get comfortable. But the thing I wanted to mention earlier, I forgot to mention this in the beginning of the story. I was talking about Patient Zero, the whole like funny skit in the beginning of the video. The reason why I said that is because here, one of my coworkers, the Patient Zero, but here he wore a mask. He got vaccinated. He's been wearing gloves. He's been taking as many precautions as he could. But because he was working retail, he still managed to get COVID anyway. So doing all the things that you do to prevent getting COVID, it does lessen your chance to get COVID, but your chances are not absolutely zero. And I'm not saying this for you to be all like, oh, what's the point of wearing a mask? What's the point of getting vaccinated if I'm still gonna get COVID? Like, if you truly are afraid of COVID, like, do as much as you can. But don't feel bad. Don't feel like it's the end of the world if you do end up getting COVID. I mean, hey, I survived. And this is coming from a guy who doesn't eat a single vegetable. If I can eat chicken tenders and burgers and pizza, I guess, and still survive, then you might do good. Just drink plenty of water. Stay hydrated. That's what I do. But yeah, that pretty much concludes the story. So if you have any questions on like anything I may have missed in the video, if you have any more questions about COVID and stuff like that, I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm just going to tell you from what I experienced. But if you want to talk to me, whether it be in my DMs on like Twitter, Instagram, or even Snapchat, you can definitely do that. If you don't feel comfortable doing any of those, I live stream every once in a while. I used to stream more often, but being an adult, living on your own, doing a lot more chores than you expected, it gives you a lot less time. But I'm going to work on trying to manage my time a little bit better to tackle all these things so I can hopefully get to you guys live again, because I miss being live with you guys. So if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description, there's going to be all my social media. So if you want to talk in the DMs, you can. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I know a good chunk of you wanted to hear this video, so let me know in the comments what you enjoyed of it. Like, did you like it? And all that fun stuff. And I guess I'll see you on the next one. So peace. Normally I cover the camera lens. But recently the videos I've been making in this apartment, like, I just can't reach the camera lens anymore. So, peace.